All right, this is the Kubernetes CSI implementation meeting. Today is July 11, 2018. As a reminder, this meeting is public and recorded. Somebody's putting little X's in the doc. So let's go ahead and start by going over what the active items are that we're tracking for last quarter. And make sure that we're closing on them. Looks like the big outstanding items are documentation. Luis, do you want to give an update here?
Yeah, I updated the entire website. I went through the whole thing. And Vlad and maybe Sergey was supposed to send me something. I haven't checked if they sent to PR. So sorry about that. If you have, I'll check now.
Okay, so it sounds like you're awaiting input from Sergey and Vlad. Sergey, Vlad, could you guys reach out to Luis and make sure that he's getting the feedback that he needs to put the documentation together?
Yeah, sure, I will do.
Cool, thank you. And how about the external cube documentation, Luis?
I have not even touched that.
Okay. So hopefully.
What do we need to do for that exactly?
I think it'll be take a look at what features we have and make sure things are updated. I think block was like the only user visible one, but I'm not certain. And block is already
alpha.
Yeah, so it might be there's nothing to do here. Just look at what all the features were that we worked on this quarter and make sure if there's any user. Actually, you know what is going to be user visible is the change for the storage class where we do the expansion of pv.name and pv.namespace and all that in the storage class.
Okay.
Maybe that's
who let that work?
That was Jordan Liggett.
Okay.
So that definitely should be documented somewhere, whether that's the Kubernetes public documentation or somewhere else. I'll leave that to you to determine.
Okay, I'll talk to that person and we'll go from there.
All right, cool.
Can you put that person's name there, right there?
I might be slightly misspelling it, so Google it.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Secret storage class expansion PV. Okay, cool. Thank you. And David, it looks like you were able to cut all the 0.3 components for the sidecars.
I don't think we did CSI test yet. I remember you said we were waiting for something. I'm not sure if that something went in.
Yeah, it's still, good question, David. Yesterday I went through like 4 or 5 or 6 issues. They got merged, but there's one more for snapshots that's pending. There's a person working on that, and I'd like to include that as 0.3.
Okay, I'll keep waiting for that one then. I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks guys. So it looks like good progress there. CSI test is the last component that is remaining to be updated. I know Michelle found a bunch of bugs there, so it looks like those are getting fixed and merged, so that's good news. The rest of these items are closed. Do we have Matt Wong or somebody familiar with the work that he's doing on the CSI drivers?
No.
Okay.
I had reviewed his PRs for that 0.3 update. This is Travis.
Okay.
I don't have merge capability. I gave it a thumbs up, and I think it's sat ever since. So I can tag some people.
Yeah, just send me on Slack, and I'll take care of it. Send me the link on Slack.
Okay, we'll do.
Awesome. And was that the case with all of these, or just the host path one?
3 of them. I want to say HostPath, NFS, and iSCSI. I don't think his touched Flex, but I'm not sure.
Got it. Okay, so that's good news. Hopefully, at least those get merged, and we'll go from there. Kubelet device plugin integration. So the remaining task here were documentation. So Sergey is going to talk to Luis and make sure that's captured somewhere. Sergey, is there any end-to-end tests we can add somewhere to verify or validate this behavior, possibly on the Kubernetes side? It's a very complicated process.
Once all the images are in with the new feature, then yeah, we could try to do some end-to-end tests.
Cool.
And it might require a little bit of thinking how to accomplish it, but I'm pretty sure it's doable.
Awesome. And maybe we'll just end up making that an item for the current quarter because it doesn't necessarily need to be tracked for the last quarter. And then finally, block volume. Vlad, looks like you're going to sync up with Luis on the documentation. And then there's an open question about need a driver to test against. I think Chris has been trying to reach out to me, and I haven't had the time to look at his responses, questions.
Yeah, I've talked to him week before last, I believe, and he had pointed out that there's some issues that that he was seeing with the Scale.io driver. So these are, it's kind of hard to tell because I don't have anything concrete to test it with. So I'll get with him I'll follow up with him this week. I was out last week.
Okay, no worries. So if we discover any sort of like systematic major issue, we might want to like put out a, I don't know, documentation or something to let people know. I don't know. Or maybe.
Yeah, I'm going to follow up with him to figure out what exactly is going on because he's seeing the device is showing up, but there was some weird behavior on the CO side. So I got to make sure it's not a timeout issue.
Okay.
That's causing it.
That looks good. Now let's switch over to the V1.12 work, and there is a lot of it. So pretty much everything with CSI.
Yeah, I mean, was that by design? Because I was looking at that yesterday. It looks like 90% of this is all CSI.
It wasn't by design, but I think it's we're getting to the point where we're trying to get across the finish line with CSI, and it's that 80-20 rule.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's go through this list. VMware vSphere, Vlad, that's on you.
Yeah, so I'm talking to folks internally who will be working on this. So I'm gonna look. So the question I have is, how are we gonna track this? Is it just by virtue of having a link, or since we won't have a feature?
Yeah, it's basically that. So the reason that we're bothering to track it at all is that Kubernetes overall has a goal of getting volume plugins out of tree.
Mm-hmm.
And so the SIG is responsible for pushing the folks who do have in-tree volume plugins to start working on out-of-tree volume plugins so that there is a viable migration strategy once that migration happens.
Okay.
So could I make a request?
Sure.
On this sheet, there seems to be 3 states for work. One is Kubernetes work. The second is Kubernetes CSI work. Mm-hmm. And the last one is external work.
Yep.
Could we have it so that they're maybe grouped in that manner? Because the external work is very out of band.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The external work is out of band. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I was kind of getting at is since the driver work is really not tracked here, do we just, because I mean, what I have to report right now is
Yeah. You know what? I think you're right. We don't need to track the external work. Basically, we just need a status update at the end of the quarter. So for the sake of these meetings, I'm going to skip over the CSI driver stuff and focus on the in-tree and core stuff. So let's do that.
Yeah. It's just like it's in between a bunch of stuff, and you want to just move them all to the bottom or something.
Yeah, I mean, for the vSphere, it's something that's going on and it started. So that's my status right now.
Okay.
You could just put started.
Sure. So in-tree cluster plugin registration mechanism. This is the big feature that we started last quarter. I imagine no progress on this yet. Sounds like you were.
Didn't Jan put out a document? We had a meeting about it last week.
Yeah, we had a meeting about that last.
I completely missed that meeting. Yeah, I was stuck in Chicago. What was the conclusion of that meeting?
The conclusion was.
Yes, you got an email about it.
Okay. Does somebody mind giving me a one-line summary?
We had a meeting late. Jordan was there, and the status right now is that we kind of renamed it because we already have a registrar mechanism. So I'm trying to recall if there was like a one-liner. Basically, it's still in design. And Jan had to go back and figure out some couple things.
Okay.
Yeah, we spent the
But it's
meeting.
still in design.
Yeah, mostly decided not to use CRDs. Mostly.
Really?
Not to use
CRDs. Wow.
Yeah.
Wait. Was it not to use CRDs or we have to?
Not to use them. That's what I remember them saying. But in the document, in the notes, Jan put down that it still remains to be decided. So, but I remember there was they were leaning towards not using CRDs, but it's still to be decided. So it could go either way.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so just to clarify, I believe the decision was, or not the decision, but the trend was not to use CRDs, but it's beneficial to use an object to represent these things.
Did anybody raise the the fact that they're not letting in any more objects?
I think that might have come up. Well, I mean, I'm guessing since Jordan was there, he of all people should know that. So.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, I think towards the end, Jan asked the question of to Jordan whether or not there's a chance that this will get in, and his answer is basically, I'm not sure at the time.
Okay, actually, that's great for us. I mean, if we can get it as a first-class entry API, that would be great. So cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, but I don't know if you guys followed the in-tree CSI in-tree discussion. There were some interesting notes from Tim, basically saying maybe we shouldn't implement it at all. So.
Tim Hawkins?
Yeah.
What was his argument?
Well, basically, he didn't like the solution proposed in the CSI in-tree volume. And he said that it basically complicates a lot the API, and it implements something which can be already implemented using PVs and PVCs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that. But even that was not conclusive because I believe somebody commented that, it's basically a workaround. We could do that anyway right now, but
yeah.
I think Jan actually came back and said we probably need a better way of doing it.
Okay, so it sounds like it's still an open issue. Maybe we can do a couple more meetings to help close on the design. But it's good that we got the conversation started. I think this will be one of the big deliverables for this quarter.
Yes.
Skip external detach and attach for non-attachable volumes.
So that basically got rolled into that same discussion.
Yep, makes sense.
And because then it became, hey, maybe we can put a bunch of attributes that we can discover about the volume, including that.
So yeah, once that's concluded, this will be an easy add-on to that. Okay, CSI library mount library core Kubernetes and CSI should consume.
This was trying to make a common library that all the drivers would use, and then eventually taking the ones that are in tree and using it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really started working on this yet, but I was going to second half of this week, basically starting now. Michelle had said she had some very strong opinions on how this should be done and what needed to happen.
Okay.
So I was going to reach out to her first to make sure I get whatever information she has.
Got it. Cool. Thanks a lot, Travis.
Yep.
We're going to skip over the CSI driver, CSI library, iSCSI common, assigned to John Griffith, who's not here, so we'll sync up with them on SIG storage. Entry, inline volume support, Jan is also not here, but I think the inline volume support might also, that discussion is going to get rolled into the plugin registration if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's a different discussion now.
It is.
Yeah. I thought it was a different discussion too. I don't think.
Yeah, because I think there's a different design, or at least a proposal.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Okay. Sorry, I was mistaken.
Just a quick question. I know this is not related to the current discussion, but I'm just curious. It seems to me now that
Louis, you sound like you're in church. Do you have a microphone somewhere?
So, let me get closer to that.
Yes, please.
To the microphone here. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
All right. It sounds to me like you just pointed out that about 90% of this is CSI and SIG storage. And we used to have the two separate meetings between SIG storage and Kubernetes CSI. Should we go back and just merge with storage SIG and just have those more often, or have them weekly? Or
That might be a good idea.
because it looks to me like we don't need to do the separate anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, everything here is pretty much CSI, and we can go back and join the mothership.
Yeah. We've basically taken over that.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. All in favor of ending these meetings and rolling it back into storage SIG?
I still want to hold out for CSI specific, because if you go and hit SIG storage on the issues against Kubernetes, there's still tons of non-CSI related stuff flying around.
That's true.
I mean, completely non-related. So, I mean, maybe we figure out a way to merge them, or maybe we have less. Because the other one is, the general one is every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe we have these every 2 weeks.
I like the thing that I've noticed is having the more frequent meetings with a smaller group of people, you get stuff done actually.
Yeah, I hear you. I completely agree with that.
Right.
And like, I really, really want to see CSI hurry up and get to 1.0. So
Then I'm good doing it the way we're doing it. That's good. Okay, just let's bring that up.
okay. So for let's see. So there's already a proposal open for this. We're going to mark it as started. Past workload info. Has anybody seen a PR on that yet? Okay, that's waiting on Jan. Hopefully he gets a chance to send out something for that. And then Hemant.
That discussion. I was hoping we never got to it in the last meeting, but that's the passing the workload information.
Yeah.
From CSI, and we didn't get to that PR today in the sync.
Okay, I think the CSI one from last time, it sounded like there was consensus there, and it just needed to be.
No, I looked at that PR maybe a couple of days earlier.
Okay. Okay.
To be diverging, there might be some holdout.
Typical.
Yeah, I think Brad had to through a list of instances where workload is needed. So it's to me, it didn't sound like there was consensus.
Okay. Disagreement.
Yeah.
All right.
Could I just ask for one, just a suggestion? It would help me, since I'm kind of reviewing like many repos at the same time. If there's like at least like a Kubernetes CSI because some of these things are not into, like there are many repos, or maybe they just ping me and they say review this.
What are you asking for?
Let me get close to the mic again. I was just wondering that when I look at this list, I don't know what repos they're in and repos they're going into. So when I need to review or merge, like because I'm like managing like 4 repos right now, I just need to know where. So is it possible to like? I'm just asking if either they ping me directly, or I look at the list and see where they are.
Or just set aside some time to look at the PRs that are coming in.
Yeah.
Those that says entry, you know where they are.
Yeah.
Everything else, it's either the Kubernetes
The problem
SIG.
with the entry is sometimes they do have a dependency on the external component.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah, I mean, we can say at the SIG that if you have somebody that you're waiting on a PR, you should try and ping that person directly if you're not getting a response. I know.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Okay, add support for dynamic max volume. Is Hemant on the call by any chance? Okay, I know he has that PR waiting in CSI and he's fighting folks there. So add volume usage metrics is also in Hemant.
By the way, I think if I understood it correctly, Hemant brought up having the number of the max volume counts into the CSI plugin registry. So there's some progress there.
Oh, okay. So it might roll into that if that resolves sometime soon. Okay.
Yeah.
So CSI spec usage metrics may be part of CSI registry. CSI registry is going to be the magic solution for everything.
Yeah, I'm super concerned about the overloading of features in there, and
I think there's a need for something like it. I think we've been waiting for it. Now we're like itching to throw everything in there.
Yeah,
I think the meeting was good in that like we basically went through all the individual use cases and tried to figure out whether or not the object is absolutely needed and whether or not it could be, that information could be stuffed somewhere else in the system today.
And within the group that attended the meeting, it sounded like there was a consensus that an object is needed. Yeah.
It wasn't a consensus. It was more like this is starting to look like it, but I was going to spend some more time on going through the use cases and figure it out for sure.
Okay.
It was the final state was still undecided.
Okay. Cool. SIF's common library, Deep is not here. We'll follow up with him in the SIG. GCE PD, REPD integration. David, any updates on this?
Have not yet started any of these.
Okay. I have been playing with your GCE PD driver. Great work on that. I was able to get it up and running and it works. So good job.
Awesome.
I had some issues with the documentation. I sent you some PRs. Feel free to take a look.
Oh, that's great. Okay, I've been meaning to fix those.
Okay.
Is that for the block driver?
This is just the GCE PD CSI driver. It's open source right now, and David worked on it, and I went and tried it today, and it works very nicely. So.
Well, I was just thinking that maybe Vladimir can use that driver for his E2E test.
So block hasn't been added yet. That's one of the tasks for this quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, for the block, I'm going to look into a couple places. I think right before the CSI work Andrew was doing, I think part of one of the things he created was a block for testing. So I'll look in there.
Perfect. External provisioner topology support. Chang, any updates on this?
So today I'm going to spend some time thinking about because I think we updated the topology key format on the CSI side recently to include organization name. I think that screws up the some of my previous thoughts on the label scheme a little bit. So I'm going to try to think through that and give you guys an update.
Okay.
But yeah, I also at the same time trying to figure out what's going on with the plugin registry.
Cool. Yeah, because that does matter to a lot of the rest of that project. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
CSI library, fiber channel common, Brad not here for an update. And then NFS common, Ben I don't think is here either. So, all right, cool. Looks good to me. Let's go back to our spreadsheet, miscellaneous updates, wish list. I think we can stop tracking this now. Global plugin registry. I think all of these are captured in work items that we have for this quarter. One item I did want to bring up is the potential for moving to 1.0 earlier rather than later. I think right now I'm thinking Q4, but like looking at the amount of work we have, if we wait for all of this work to finish, we might end up being as late as Q1 or later. So what I'm thinking is if we decouple the core of CSI from these additional features that we have, like block volume for CSI, we can get to 1.0 or to GA faster. The drawback is that we end up GAing something and then we add in a feature that requires changing the core. But I think the biggest outstanding issues, we're designing through them this quarter. So I think if we have the designs in the right place by the end of this quarter, then we can drive the core to 1.0 in Q4. I had somebody suggest pushing to GA CSI this quarter. I am going to push back on that. What are folks' thoughts on that?
I think you have made a great point, and I completely agree that it's either GA in Q4 without block or without things that are still alpha in Kubernetes, right? Then that's a good idea. Or we wait till Q1, and I'm fine with that also.
Okay.
Are we thinking of having like some sort of feature gate mechanism for each of these newer features?
Yeah, and they already do. So for example, block
Okay.
has its own feature gate. So
Cool.
the only concern is that we end up locking down the core, and then we realize there is some functionality that we want to add that requires modifying the core. But I think now that we're looking at ephemeral volumes and trying to support them, I think that was the last big use case that I had that I didn't get a chance to look at. Maybe local volumes. Other than that, we should be okay. Okay. Bugs and PRs that need attention. Let's go through PRs. Inline CSI volumes from Jan. This is waiting on David and Saad to review. Oops. Okay, I will take a look at this. David, did you get a chance to look at this at all?
Isn't this the crazy one that everyone's commenting on right now?
Appears to be.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a design. This is not even okay.
Yeah, I don't think I had too much to add, but it looks like I think this is the one that Tim was pushing back on.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the one with inline CSI volume. And it seems like there are use cases for inline to do stuff like secrets, etc.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take a look at this offline. Everybody feel free to join the fun. CSI driver registry, prerequisite of inline CSI volume. That's also pending. And then driver to 0.3. This has been approved by Travis, and I guess Luis can help merge that.
Yeah, I just pointed to a comment at the end. There seems to be a failure. In CSI test, Michelle added a change, which is good, and that's checking new things, and it failed on the driver. So I put it right there.
Go, Michelle. All right, cool.
Oh yeah, I had noticed that was a different test failure. I thought it was from something else. Apologies.
Yeah. It was just brand new, so it was passing just a few days ago. So that's why
All right, so for the bugs that we have, attacher timeout, this has been on Shabeksha for a while. She reached out to me and said she doesn't have any more time to invest in helping with this at the moment. So we might have to just merge it as is, which it looks like we cannot do, or have somebody else pick it up. Is anybody else interested in picking up this?
you can merge it. It's just saying it's warning you. It's mergeable, but it's warning you. So you should click on update branch first, and then you'll have to wait till it presses Travis, and then it'll give you the choice to merge it.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's keep an eye on that, and then we can come back to it. If it's good to merge, I say we can probably go ahead and merge it as is, and then add in tests later because Shabeksha is unable to follow up on that. So scale issues, Cube API server throttles, external provisioner. Has Matt Wong sent out any new PRs around this?
Sent out 104 is what he sent. Yeah.
Okay.
I've looked at it a couple times. I haven't looked at it lately.
Okay. Can we assign reviewers for these to do the final sign-off? Vlad?
I'll look at it again.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll look at it again.
All right, thanks.
Mhm.
And then the FS type stuff, I believe, is already merged and is being
Yep.
It's being cherry picked, so that's looking
Yeah, the cherry
good.
pick got picked.
Nice. So we can probably close this pretty soon.
Yeah. I think there were 2 cherry picks that came out for 110, 111 yesterday.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. That's all that I have. I am not going to be able to attend the Friday meeting, so if one of you could take over, that would be great.
Awesome.
And then
I can take it over if you want me to, or somebody else wants to volunteer. It's fine too.
No, go ahead, Louis.
Yeah.
All right. So Luis will run the Friday meeting, and then I'll be back on Wednesday.
Saad, do you want any update for the snapshot? I joined late. Sorry.
Oh yes.
Basically quickly, we had weekly meetings. We settled down those snapshot controller design part. I think right now just we'll have another meeting next Monday on the restore part, which has this data source thing we need to decide.
Okay.
And then also we are also doing the coding. So Saad, I see that you created that external snapshot repo.
Yep.
So right now we're working on my private repo now. Have some code that right now works, but we need refinement. But we should be able to submit it soon.
Cool. So yeah, as an FYI, folks, I added a new external repo. It's called the external snapshotter, and this is going to be the code that will be responsible for creating and deleting snapshots.
Well, so we're not, okay, so this takes me back to the project that we want to join everything in one, so we're not do that, or we're gonna continue as is?
Let's abort that, considering how disruptive it would be and the low value add that it'll have.
Okay.
I think we're functioning fairly well with the current structure that we have. The one thing I would like to see is drivers get split out. And I was talking to somebody today, and they're like, yeah, we were looking at the drivers repo, and it's really confusing and that kind of thing. So if we could get that split out, that'd be nice. But
I can do that on my spare time.
Yeah, leave it as a low pry. If you get to it, that's great. If not, no big deal.
That's fine.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Anything else anybody wants to discuss?
So Saad, when we submit PR for this snapshot feature, so should we submit everything as one big PR?
No, please don't.
Okay. So because okay, so what is suggesting? Like submit the API part first, and then the controller part, and then
you and Jing are going to be the owners of this repo. It is going to be your responsibility to maintain a high quality bar for this. So you need to decide what you want to do. If you think that a large PR makes sense, then you're perfectly, you can do that. If smaller PRs make sense for you, you can do that. Ultimately, what my suggestion is going to be is to design for reliability and long-term maintenance. That means write unit test, write end test early. Get your CI, continuous integration, running as soon as you can. Write good documentation, and you're ultimately responsible for it, so it's going to be up to you.
Yeah, and I run the Travis on all those repos, so I can just create you a little Travis file with nothing in it, just like hello world kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
and you can keep adding to it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll take a look and see how other repos.
Yeah, and the good thing, just let you know, the good thing about having, just my suggestion, and you can do what you want, but my suggestion of having small ones is that people like me who are outside the project can look at the files and look at your changes and start learning how the snapshot works, so we can start reviewing also.
Yeah, we want to submit a smaller PRs. It's only that, if we only part of it does not work, that's the only reason I was because the last time I submitted, initially thought it's going to be in tree, right? So I already have those codes submitted. That's actually one huge PR.
Yeah, I think it's okay to do one big PR in the beginning, because ideally you want your repo to be in a state that it's actually working. So if you do one big initial PR, I'm okay with that, and then small subsequent changes make sense.
That's fine too. That's fine. Just want to let you know, the way I do it is I start running unit tests for functions, and I check those in, and I continuously do that, even though it's not usable as a whole, but the unit tests run and succeed because they're only testing that one function or that one section.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can do what you want. I'm just giving you examples.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I will talk with Jing and then decide what's the best way.
Test-driven development is a very good philosophy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, Luis. I will ask you for help if I need, set up some.
I'll be online and I'll create a Travis file today for you.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Shing. Thank you, Luis. Anything else that we want to talk about today? All right. That's the end of the meeting then. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Later.
Take care.